What was the hardest part about growing up for you?
There wasn't too much that was hard. I just learned to adapt and had my parents and my friends to help me on my way. I want to be pushed as far as I can go and be able to do everything that I can.
The life of Jessica Parks has a lot to do with balance and her sense of it. The balance she's achieved in school as both an athlete and a member of the National Honor Society, and the physical balance she has learned and trained for, playing on her school soccer team and flying into the air as a part of cheerleading routines. Poised atop her teammates' shoulders, even though she has no arms.
Stick it, honey. Straighten up.
How do you balance when you get thrown into the air?
I just keep myself stiff and stay up there. I trust all the girls on our squad and know that they're there just in case if I do fall, but fortunately that hasn't happened.
Good.
Jessica is 17 years old, a senior at North Branch High School in southeastern Michigan. She came here as a sophomore when her parents decided to move out of the Detroit area. And as she has done all her life, she walked through the front door and waited for others to react.
And I was kind of really nervous, especially not having arms and not sure of how the kids were going to react. And I remember walking through the halls and just looking around, and I was really quiet, and I didn't know I saw all these kids. They're all looking at me, and I was like, wow, this is kind of scary.
And there were two girls sitting in front of her, kind of like they were pointing and laughing at her and stuff. And so me and a group of friends just decided that we would like walk over and see if she wanted to come sit with us. And so I went over and I asked her, and then when she turned around, it was like this big shock of, oh my gosh, she has no arms.
They notice, then they forget, and wind up focusing on the remarkable abilities Jessica has displayed from her infancy now to the verge of adulthood. That, to her friends, makes her a story worth telling and an example worth remembering.
Hey, baby.
She was born in March of 1985, and her mother, Yvonne Parmenter, says tests she received during pregnancy had not prepared her for what doctors told her shortly after Jessica's birth.
They said that she had a handicap, that she was born without arms, and they ran the gamut of testing on her, and everything else came back perfect.
This videotape was taken by Jessica's father, Wayne Parks, who has since been divorced from her mother. What the test showed was that Jessica's condition was one of those rare circumstances with no indications of a history or cause in her family.
Everybody said, you know, just focus on one day at a time and one accomplishment at a time, and it'll all fall into place, and it did. She pulled herself around with her little heels and scooted all over the floor. Tore up more diapers than I can possibly even imagine from scooting outside in the grass and the rocks and, you know, tearing up the diapers. And
Did you ever try to fit her for prosthetic arms?
yes. I mean, they were just trainers, you know, just something for her to wear to get used to wearing them.
How did that work out?
She hated them.
I figured that I was better off without them. I'm able to do everything with my feet a lot easier, and so I just don't need them.
Those days set the tone for how she would approach life. Her stepfather, Jeffrey Parmenter, says one of her most important early lessons was learning how to fall.
Because there were times when she'd be walking along, if she caught a crack in the sidewalk, she'd, you know, right smack on her face, and she'd received a few stitches for that. And so we worked with her to not fall forward, but yet to turn or to push off and kind of slide.
She was also learning to an amazing degree how to use her feet as a substitute for her hands.
How old are you? 5, all right.
So you have all those great pictures that parents love of Crayola and watercolors and things like that that she drew for you.
Oh, yeah. At school, they done handprint wreaths with the children for Christmas to make, and they do their handprints, and then their thumbs make the holly berries. Hers is very unique with feet prints. And the footprint turkeys, I like those.
Jessica realized very quickly and in many ways that she was different.
We had neighbors that wouldn't allow their children to play with her. And she was real upset over that because they would talk at the fence, you know, and the neighbors would come out and they'd call their children back into the house. So that's when she started, you know, what's wrong with me kind of thing, you know.
Do you still find yourself worrying about what other people think?
Yes, I do. Not so much anymore. When I was littler, it was a big thing. I felt really uncomfortable in restaurants eating with my feet because there was a lot of stares, and now I don't see that it was mean. I mean, they were curious. I can understand that, but it made me feel really uncomfortable, and I didn't want to be there, and I didn't want to do things. And my dad, he would say, you know, smile back at him or wave to him or something, you know, and don't let him bother you.
The extent to which Jessica has achieved the near impossible is evident even in the small things she does, such as putting on a pair of contact lenses. The motivation is twofold: to prove she can do it and to fit in at school.
How did you learn to do that?
Honestly, I didn't want to come to school with braces and glasses, and I went to my eye doctor, and she basically told me that there would be no way that I could do it, and that's what made me even more determined.
She insisted and insisted and insisted, so she was fitted for contacts and brought them home. And after, about an hour and a half, 2 hours in the bedroom, she came out with her eyes all red and raw, and I got them in.
How long does it take you to do it now?
A couple minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes.
From an hour to 1 or 2 minutes?
Yeah.
She wanted to drive the family tractor, which involves shifting through 5 gears and turning a sluggish steering wheel. And within minutes after her stepfather told her he didn't think she could do it, there she was, making her rounds of the yard. One of her most unlikely dreams was to join the cheerleading squad at North Branch High School, an ambition she revealed to her parents.
They were kind of leery, but they were excited for me.
What made them leery?
Probably the same thing that made me leery before on not trying out, just because it's involved with a lot of hands, and they weren't sure on how things were going to work.
They worked just fine. And one thing that surprised Jessica was when students from competing schools wrote to express their support.
What do they say?
They just say things like, you're an inspiration, you know, we really appreciate what you're doing awesome.
And even though there was a driving rain at the school's homecoming game and the squad had to eliminate aerial maneuvers, she was conspicuous for her voice and her enthusiasm. I knew I had a loud voice, she says, and I knew I could be happy. That's her boyfriend standing behind her. He is Josh Compton, and he met Jessica at a family gathering.
He's a really nice guy. He makes me laugh. He is really helpful to me. Whenever I need something, he's there. And he sees me for me.
Her mom said that she's an angel and that's why she's here.
And what's your impression, Josh?
I agree.
Okay, just wait.
One of her main goals now is to drive. That will require a special teacher and a specially equipped car, but no one doubts it will happen. She plans to study accounting and business management in college, and she has already begun to shine in college preparatory classes, keeping track of sales and inventories and entering the information in spreadsheets. But the focus at the end of this week was on the homecoming dance, one of the rites of passage where she also hoped to shine. Her friend Elise McMeans helped Jessica pick up her dress.
She looks gorgeous. It looks like it was made for her, and when she puts it on, she looks like Cinderella. She looks so pretty.
It's conventional wisdom to wish for someone at this stage of life to live up to her potential. In many ways, Jessica Parks already has exceeded hers. And in the future, this graduating senior may simply have to live up to herself.
She is only 17, but what she has worked for and what she has strived for and how much she's got already, I see so much for her.
Have you ever thought about why you're here, what you were put here to do?
Yes, I have. I guess I think I was put here as an inspiration to others. Just to show people that whatever they set their mind to, they can get it done. And it doesn't matter what other people say or think. If you want to do something, you can do it. Pretty much anything I set my mind to, I'll be able to figure it out.